Hello students, today we are going to discuss definite integral. Definite integrals are practical form of integration. So in this topic we are going to understand how definite integral work. First thing is fundamental theorem of calculus. Now this theorem states that let f of x be any function continuous in closed interval a comma b and capital F of x be the antiderivative or integral of small f of x, then integral with limit a to b f of x dx will be capital F of b minus f of a. That means it is upper limit minus lower limit. Illustration says right minus 1 to 3 integral of x cube dx is x raised to the power 4 by 4 minus 1 to 3. This symbol doesn't represent mod here, this represent integration is done and limit is yet to substitute. So we'll put upper limit 3 raised to the power 4 minus lower limit minus 1 raised to the power 4. So after simplification it is 20. Now definite integral also proceed like indefinite integration, like definite integral by substitution, definite integral by parts, definite integral by partial fraction. So obviously all those questions which we have done in indefinite integration that have one extra step and they like substitution of limit, and we can do them in definite integral also. So we are not going to discuss those definite integral question here, but one important point regarding substitution we want to discuss with an example. Suppose we are having a question 0 to pi by 2 under root of cos theta into sin cube theta d theta. So obviously I am splitting sin cube theta as sin square into sin, and that sin square can be written as 1 minus cos square theta. The next step is very obvious. I'll try to put cos theta as t, so minus sin theta d theta is dt. So if the question belongs to indefinite integration, so I will do this question. I will resubstitute theta and then I will put the limit. But here if we change the limit, then no need to resubstitute t in terms of theta. How to change the limit? Let us see. This is the step when I have substitute cos theta is equal to t. So this will help me to find the new limit, and obviously we want new limit because now we are changing the function and these limits belong to theta. So obviously if their function is changed, so limit will also be changed. So how to find the new limit? If theta is equal to 0, put theta is equal to 0 here, t is equal to 1 as cos 0 is 1, and then when theta is equal to pi by 2, then t becomes 0. So new limits are 1 to 0 under root of t into 1 minus t square into dt. After that we can open the bracket and we can apply power rule, and that's the point. We have no need to substitute t back as cos theta. We can straight away put our new limit. So this is the benefit. So after that we can get required answer. No need to write plus c here as we have done in indefinite integration, because these are definite integral. So there are some properties of definite integral which make the question very easy. These are very important properties for examination point of view. So let us discuss one by one. First is if limit are same, upper limit and lower limit, whatever function is, if the function is integrable, so result is 0. This property is very obvious. Second is if a to b function f of x dx is there and we want to change the limits, then we have to put the sign negative. That means a to b f of x dx is equal to minus b to a f of x dx. Next is a to b f of z dz is equal to a to b f of x dx. Now sometimes students get confused here. I am not substituting the function here. I am just saying that if sin x is there, sin z is there, and limits are same, the result is also same. Like 0 to pi by 2 integral of sin x is same as 0 to pi by 2 integral of sin z dz. Then some students say that sir, why not in indefinite integration they are same? In indefinite integration also sin x and sin z both are having integration minus cos x. But point is that when I integrate in indefinite integration and I am getting minus cos x and minus cos z, I can't say these both are same, because x and z, we can't take surety that these two variables are same. So but in case of definite integration, whether it is cos x or cos z, we have to put the limit, and if limits are same, that means result is same. So This is the property. Next is, if a to b f of x dx is there, then we can split the limits as, or integral into two parts, a to c f of x dx plus c to b f of x dx, where c is any point, not exactly midpoint, any point between a and b. Next property is very important. A to b f of x dx is equal to a to b f of a plus b minus x. That means variable can be replaced with sum of limit minus variable. So if we check this property, like 1 to 3x square dx is 1 to 3, 1 plus 3 is 4. So if I replace x with 4 minus x whole square, result should be same. So let us see, is it same? So integral of x square is x cube by 3, limit 1 to 3. Put x as 3, it is 27 by 3, which is 9. And put x as 1, it is 1 by 3. So result is 26 by 3. And similarly, if we integrate this by power rule, 4 minus x cube whole raised to power 4 minus x whole raised to power 3 upon 3, and minus sign due to chain rule. And then if we put the limit, so 4 minus 3, it is 1 by 3, and 4 minus 1, it is 3 cube by 3. So again result is same, 26 by 3. So by both LHS RHS are equal, so it is verified. Now special case of this property is also equally important, like if I replace lower limit with 0 and upper limit with a, so it becomes 0 to a f of a minus x. So this is also very important. Sixth property, if we are having minus a to a f of x dx, then result, there are two possible results: 0 if the function is odd, and 2 times 0 to a f of x dx if function is even. Now obviously you people must know about even and odd function. That means if I put minus x and result become negative, so it is odd function. If it is plus x minus x, if I put minus x and result is same, it is even function. Like sine raised to the power 7x dx minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, straight away it is 0, because sine of minus x is minus sine x. Moreover, power is also odd, so that is making it odd function. Had it been sine raised to the power 8x, so it would have been even function, whether sine x is odd, but due to even power, overall function is even, so then it would not have been 0. So this is the point, not only focus on sine but also the power. Next is 0 to 2a f of x dx, it becomes 0 if we have f of 2a minus x is equal to minus f of x, and 2 times 0 to a f of x, comma, if f of 2a minus x is equal to f of x. Like, don't consider this as 2a, consider this as upper limit only. Like if I am having 0 to pi cos x dx, now cos of pi minus x is minus cos x, so result is 0, because this is behaving like 2a. So if I am having 0 to pi sin x, now sine of pi minus x is sin x, so this is not negative, so it will become 2 times 0 to pi by 2 sine of x dx. So this is the property. So these are 7 properties. Hope you have got these properties. In next video we will discuss its proof. So that's it, that's all for today. Take care, have a nice day, thank you.